I feel like I don't have enough time to get everything done.
Everything should be pre-packed. It should be ready to go. It doesn't happen from working more hours. It happens from working more strategically. All right, so we are going to fix your biz today. Tell me what's happening. How can I help you out?
Yeah, well, my problem is I'm suffering from success, I guess.
Not the
So,
worst thing to suffer from. Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm not complaining at all, but I'm getting pretty busy, and even with an editor, I think that I'll need to have additional help soon.
Mm,
I feel like I don't have enough time to get everything done, but I don't know how I can possibly give things up that because it just feels like so much stuff is in my head and just things that I know how it's supposed to
yeah.
go. I don't know
Yeah.
how I can, possibly pull somebody else into the fold.
Oh my God, right. Well, obviously, this is a very popular problem. Even just on your comment, there were several people being like, yes, this. So we know this exists. And I want to first call out success because right here, I love that you've already outsourced your editing. So if anyone is listening who feels like they don't have enough hours, obviously that is thing number one. So congratulations on that, Kira. Good start there. But my big curiosity here is what is taking so long? And so I want to dig in a little bit with you on that because the interesting thing, and this is really fascinating, is that the people I know who have businesses $500,000 and up are actually working fewer hours than the people I know who have businesses at 100,000. So
Mhm.
why is that? It's systems. It's all about systems and time management. So the first thing we need to do is diagnose what is happening in your time right now. Talk to me about how many hours do you typically have dedicated to work per week?
Mm. Oh, I don't track my hours, but
Oh,
I would.
let's start right there.
Okay, okay. Okay, so I should start tracking how many hours I'm spending doing certain things, probably.
So, doing an hours inventory is really helpful to get a feel for what is taking time. And because a lot of times people don't even understand what's taking so long. So, you can do an hours inventory to track that. But even just thinking broader strokes, I like to think of it as you probably heard me say before the idea that if you were logging in for a job, let's say that you were going to apply for a position and they said it's a 20-hour a week position or it's a 40-hour a week position, or oh my gosh, you're trying to be a lawyer and it's an 80-hour a week position. What would you be interested in? Like, would you apply for a job that said it's 40 hours a week? Do you have that ability to work hours like that?
Mhm. Yeah, I do. And additionally, I don't have kids. I That's something
Hey,
that I've thought of before is, as I'm doing this, I'm like, man, I don't have enough time to do all this. How do people with kids do this?
let me tell you, Kira, it is a challenging act. But nonetheless, I mean, everybody's got their time pressures in one way or
Yeah.
another. But so what I'm hearing is you are full time. You have full time hours for this, huh?
Yeah, yeah, I would guess that I do between probably 50 hours a week.
Whew, more than full time. Wow.
Yes, because I do I mean maybe 45. It just depends on the week, right? You know how that is.
Yeah.
But um I typically do work a couple of hours on the weekends as well. Um
Mm-hmm.
so what's taking me so much time? I would
Yeah.
say networking actually, it feels like such a time suck to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that I have to do it.
All right, you're sucking it
um,
up. Good. I like that. How many times a week are you networking?
um, I've cut it down to once a week. I was
Mm-hmm.
doing two, and then I just felt like I didn't have time to do two, so I've been doing one and a half a week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the thing is, when I go to those networking meetings, maybe I'll meet like three people that I'm like, I want to follow up with these people, and I invite
Perfect.
them out to a one-on-one for coffee. But then it's like,
Okay.
okay, that's three additional hours plus I got to drive.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
actually, in
that's
fairness, I would say you're not doing networking once a week. I would say you're doing it 4 times a week because one-on-ones do count as networking, obviously. And so, yeah, so at first I was a little alarmed. I'm like, wait, this is half where you need to be. I like to see people at 2 networking activities, let's call them, per week. But you are
okay.
doing 4. So you're doing a double dose. So that could be part of what's taking a lot of time. Now, let's think
Okay.
about that for just a second while we're on this topic. When it
Mhm.
comes to doing 4 networking events per week, and 3 of those are one on one, I think that the
Mhm.
challenge is a lot of times the one on ones don't really have a good ROI. And the reason
Yeah.
why I found that is that in the beginning of my career, I was told, well, this is what you're supposed to do. And a lot of networking organizations, like BNI is one of them, they will train you that you're supposed to conduct one on ones. So I think people get that in their mind. Networking equals one on ones. But what I found was I wanted to be with the heavy hitters in the community. I wanted to be with the movers and shakers. And when you're a mover and shaker, you don't have time to go meet with the new kid on the block who just picked up their camera, you know? And so they didn't have time in their schedule to work in that 1 hour meeting with me. So who did have time? It was other people like me. It was people who were low on business, needed to start their book of business. And so I was basically sitting down with, the lower ambition and lower achievers. And I wanted to be with the high ambition, high achievers. So I decided quite quickly, one-on-ones is not a good investment of my time. So if
Okay.
I were to tell you that you are freed from that, how does that feel?
That would be amazing. But, and of course, I'm going to say this as a recovering people pleaser. People
Okay.
ask me, people ask me to do one-on-ones. So what am I supposed to do if someone's like, "Hey, let's do a one-on-one"?
Oh, I have a solution. Here's what you're going to say. You're going to say, "Oh my God, I would love to catch up with you. Hey, let's do this. Are you going to that next women in business meeting? Let's grab coffee on our way there and then we'll walk in together. How does that sound? What if we make it at 1:45 and the meeting's at 2, something like that." So you can still fit in that time and make them feel special. You're not saying no. You're just controlling
Mhm.
your time a little better. And then you also skip the drive time because you wisely noted you
Yeah.
got to get ready, you got to get in the car, you got to get to the meeting, all that stuff. So you might as well double up.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, that definitely frees up a lot of time.
Yeah, because we just found you, gosh, 3 hours plus drive time plus getting ready. We just found you like 7 hours in your week.
Yeah.
A whole
That's
day. A whole extra
okay.
day just emerged by managing things right. So that's one perfect example. But obviously, I'm not saying don't stop networking. I want you to continue networking, and the goal should be 2 activities per week. But you can be more efficient with it and more strategic with it than what you're doing right now. Because it's not just about like, I need to meet people, I need to meet the right people. That's the key to networking.
Mhm. Mhm.
So let's
That
think about
definitely
other things. So meanwhile, I know that you're following the process of level up, I assume, yes.
yes.
So you're doing in-home consultations, you're doing an IPS appointment, you're doing discovery calls. Does all that check out for you?
Yes.
Okay. So another thing we can think about is we can think about making those days more productive too. So here's a good tip. I like to think of scheduling my time as front of house, back of house, or in other words, on stage, off stage. So anytime that you need to do a consultation, an IPS, that's definitely on stage. You need to be in control in the sales seat and you need to be showing up like a professional. So that's what I'm talking about. Get your hair and makeup on and get ready to put your game face on. So
Mhm.
those sorts of things, you can make those much more efficient by stacking them all on the same day. Because any
Oh, okay.
time that you have to include drive time, get ready time, all that stuff, it's making your day more inefficient. So have you employed that idea of stacking those front of house activities?
No, I have not.
We found you lots of hours right there. That's going to make you much more efficient. So for me, that day is I like to have 2 days on my schedule that are, on stage type activities. That would be networking, consultations, IPS, wall art installation. Those are the ones where I have to be, in front of people. So if you make 2 days set on your schedule for that, you're going to maximize your time a lot better. And then, hey, good news. The rest of the days, you could be in your pajamas. So that's good too.
Yeah. Yeah, I can already see how that would save time as well because yeah, it's kind of ridiculous the amount of time that it does take to like get ready, get all my stuff together, um, and just get out the door, and then it just
Yeah.
feels like my half my day is gone.
Absolutely. And I'm really glad you mentioned the idea of getting your stuff together. That's another thing. There are all these little hidden efficiencies that can be managed better. So, for example, I have a to go bag, it's a rolling suitcase, and I just like have it by the front of the door and pop it in your car. Everything should be
Mm,
pre-packed. It should be ready to go. But if every day you're recreating the wheel, oh, where did I put that sample? Oh, do I have enough product guides? If you're hunting for things over and over again, that's extremely inefficient.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I have a question related to that actually.
Yeah.
Um, do you keep two sets of samples? Because sometimes I do in person sales at my studio, and sometimes I do it at
Mhm.
their home, or, um, it just depends. So,
Is
do you
there a
keep,
reason why you're doing sales at your studio? Is it because it's straight out of camera immediately following the shoot? Or is it that
yes.
you and the client? Okay, it is that. All right, good. That's the answer I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
I am a fan of efficiency, as you can see. And
Mhm.
so obviously, skipping out the extra drive time is not only efficient for you, it's efficient for your client as well. So, yes,
Mhm.
you should have two sets of samples in that case. Good thinking there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for the most part, how are we going to sell the most? It's going to be by offering that concierge service. And so if you're in your client's home, at least for the consultation, you're going to be making more money than if all you ever do is meet them at your studio. And do you know why I'm saying that, Kira? Do you know why you're going to make more money if you go to their home?
That's where their walls are.
Ah, bing, bing, bing. Correct. If you want to sell wall art, you need to see their walls. So, at the very
Mhm.
least, your consultation should be at their home. So, that's good. But we're thinking efficiently now. I like this a lot. So, here's what I want you to
Yeah.
do. Now, you already know that I'm a huge fan of Next Level. And so, I think that there's a lot more time management things that you can unlock that are taught within that course because yeah, I know how to run a $500,000 business. I know how to run seven figures of revenue from multiple businesses, and it doesn't happen from working more hours. It happens from working more strategically. So I'm here to tell you that you can make 1 million or you can make 100,000 with 40 hours a week. You decide.
Okay.
So what you have to do is you have to continually be refining your time management, your systems, and your outsourcing. I know that you started this call thinking the answer was you need to outsource more. I actually don't think that's the case yet. I think what you
Okay.
need to do now is you need to get more efficient with your time and your strategies because you're not going to be very effective at outsourcing if you don't have the system dialed in. You need to first understand what are the tasks that are so important to my business. And I know right now you're having explosive growth, so this is probably coming at you pretty fast. But the more that you can control your time and work within those constraints, the better you're going to be at knowing what and when and to who to outsource to. So we need to first control it on your end. So within Next Level, there's this really good activity, and you can also do this somewhat on your own. But in Next Level, we make it real easy because we have this time management app that I continually visit. I go to it every 6 months and I keep refining what is my ideal work week and just brush it up and polish it up more and more because every year I get more efficient with my time and I make more money as a result. But how you can do this at home is you want to think of it as like a kindergarten craft assignment. So we used to do this in fact in our workshops. You get out a big old piece of poster board and you write down the days of the week. And then you get some index cards and you start cutting them up and you think about what is my ideal week? How much time do I need to put into the shoot, the consultation, the art installation, the networking, the ordering of albums, the designing of albums, the handing images to my retoucher, all the tasks that it takes to run a business. You're going to plot those out on your big old, in this case, kindergarten assignment, or in the case of if you have Next Level in the Rise and Thrive app. So when you do that, you can start to see where the inefficiencies are because I want you to think about things like buffer times, getting ready times, drive times, packing things up. And so once you see, wait a second, this doesn't make sense for me to every morning at 10 a.m. do a front of house assignment because look at all the inefficiencies that happen as a result. Now I'm putting on lipstick 5 times. Now I'm getting in my car 5 times when you could instead just do that on 2 days.
Yeah. And so, you know what? I have a really quick question related.
Yeah,
I try to respond to people's inquiries, obviously, as fast as possible.
cool.
Um, do you respond to inquiries on the weekend?
I do. Absolutely. Yes. And if you've been one of my clients, you also know that I will respond at 6 a.m. and I will respond at 9 p.m. I am ready to do business when my clients are ready to do business,
Okay.
with a very big caveat. I also control when I don't do business. That's super important too, because, a long time ago, I learned this from my entrepreneur father-in-law. I was really struggling because, once again, I'm trying to set up my Rise and Thrive. I'm thinking about the year ahead, and I was having this business boost in January and like, okay, this is going to be the most productive year ever. And I mapped it all out. And then I was kind of like a little bummed because I said, man, I'm doing all this and I'm working 45 hours. And he goes, what's the problem? And I said, well, I mean, I know you're supposed to work a 40-hour work week, and so I'm over budget here and I need to rein it in. He said, do you love what you do? I said, 100%, I love what I do. He said, what's the problem? How many people are blessed with the opportunity to love their work weeks? And so once I realized, wait a second, we are fed this lie from society. We are fed this idea that it's painful to work, that you shouldn't want to work outside work hours. Don't you dare work Saturdays. And I think that is just a bygone era. I think there were industrial worker times where people didn't want to show up at the factory. And so they limited the work hours from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. But as entrepreneurs, we are blessed with this gift that we get to love what we do. And so every time I get the opportunity to call someone, I absolutely love it. It's my favorite part of my entire work week. So, I mean, this is my favorite part. Talking to you is my favorite part of the work week. So yeah, I will take that call when the client is available. But if I'm having dinner with my family, or if I'm on a date, or if I'm on vacation, or if I'm watching a movie, I don't pick up the phone. So you got to watch the line between like, yes, you can work as many hours as you enjoy working. And if that's 45, great. And if that's 35, great. And if that's 55, great. Work what you want to work. But meanwhile, do control so that you know that you also have your freedom. Because there are just as many times that I might answer the phone at 6 a.m. as there are times that it's Wednesday at 1 p.m. and I'm in my hair salon. And I'm not talking to anybody. That's my spa day. So I have probably more spa days than most women but I also answer the phone in the morning before work hours. So choose your freedom. Don't feel like that you have to conform to anyone else's idea about what is a work week. You choose your freedom. That's the beauty of designing that Rise and Thrive app, because you get to decide what does an ideal life look like. And you also know this, Kira, we're having double duty today because I called you this morning. Where did I call you from?
You were biking. You were on the bike.
I was on the bike. I was biking home. I have a morning ritual that I walk for 4 miles. I bike for 4 miles. I come home from the grocery store like a sweet little European with a basket full of groceries. And I live the lifestyle I want, and I start cooking a homemade meal. I mean, does that sound dreamy? It's a dream to me. I have designed this lifestyle for myself. And so, yeah, that also means that I'm taking a call on a bike, and you didn't mind, and neither did I. So it was a great win for both of us.
That's awesome. Well, I think that that'll be super helpful. And I love that your solution also is not going to be for me to hire somebody, and that,
Nope.
because that would have cost, a bit of money.
Yes,
then
and
it's
not to
really
mention
just,
frustration. You've got hiring, firing, training. And I think that trying to train something before you've developed it yourself is a recipe for disaster. So I would rather you master the skill sets and the set of tactics for your business first and then outsource it. So we're on the right path there.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would feel bad trying to pull somebody in the fold when I don't know where I'm leading them to.
That's right. So step one, control the time you have and control the systems you have. Now, down the line, I'm just going to plant the seed for you. When your business starts to push over 200,000, especially over 250,000, that's going to be the place where you are going to need to outsource even more, because it's very difficult for a business to grow beyond 300,000 without something like a studio manager or an assistant or a supporter behind the scenes. So that is coming. I believe that that time will be coming for you sooner rather than later. So that's going to come, but you're going to be more successful at getting those roles filled when you've already become a master of your own time. And now you're just buying back your time by hiring for those extra pieces.
Awesome. Okay, well, now I have a little bit of homework.
You do? Yes. Just dial it in, map it out, and see where this takes you. And I bet you're going to unlock a lot of hours when you start to do this exercise.
Awesome. Okay, I'm excited.
All right. Well, great talking to you. It was a pleasure fixing your biz, and we'll talk again, maybe on a bike ride.
Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Want to fix your biz? If you're a professional photographer or an aspiring pro, you need to join me in the best business group on the internet, Rise to the Top with Megan DiPiero. Ask your business question there in the group, and you might just be my next podcast guest. Join me at rttt.life.